I remember that trip mostly because of how quiet it got before anything actually happened. We had gone out sometime in mid-December for a short overnight plan, not too far from the main road, and we found this clearing off a side path that looked used, but not recently, and I noticed right away there was no leftover trash anywhere or burn marks from older fires, which felt a little off for a place that looked like people stopped there. But we still set up before it got too dark. There were 2 of us, and after we got the tent up and a small fire going, he walked off toward the trees to take a call where the signal was better, while I stayed back near the fire, sorting some of the gear. And after a few minutes, I heard something move from the side near the car, like a slow step pressing into the ground, and I turned, expecting to see him come around from the other side. But there was no one there, just the car and the dark line of trees behind it, and I stayed there listening. And then it happened again, from the same direction, another step shifting closer into the clearing without coming into the light. And while I was looking that way, the car door eased open slightly and stopped. I called his name, expecting him to answer from somewhere nearby, but nothing came back, and I kept my eyes on the car as I walked toward it slowly. And right before I reached it, the door pulled itself shut, and the interior light cut out at the same moment, like someone had closed it from inside. And I stopped without touching it, just standing there close enough to reach the handle. And then I heard something move near the tent, a low shift along the ground beside it that made the fabric tighten briefly near the base, and then release. And I turned back and watched that area without stepping closer. He was still out near the trees. I could hear him talking faintly, and I had not gone near the tent since we set it up, but I still moved a few steps in that direction without thinking about it, keeping distance from it as I did. And the fabric along the lower side pulled inward again in one spot, like something was pressing into it from the outside, holding there for a moment before sliding away along the edge. And I stepped back after that and turned toward the car again, and the door gave a short movement, like it shifted slightly on its latch and settled back into place. Footsteps started again from the side near the car, moving across the ground at a normal pace without trying to hide the sound. And I turned and saw someone standing at the edge of the light facing in my direction, not saying anything and not coming closer, just standing there. And I stepped back and called his name again, and the voice that answered came from the trees behind that person. Same voice and same tone, like he was still out there and had not come back yet. And the person near the light did not react at all to that. And I moved toward the car quickly and grabbed the handle and pulled it open and got in. And as I pulled the door shut, something struck the front windshield from outside with enough force to spread a crack across it. And I reached over and locked the door right away. And I turned the key, but nothing came from the engine, and the panel lights were gone at the same time. Another hit landed against the front, and the glass flexed inward slightly where it had already cracked, and I did not stay inside after that. I pushed the door open on the other side and got out and moved away from the car toward the direction he had gone, keeping distance from it as I did, and I could hear movement behind me. Along the ground, keeping pace, without closing the distance, and when I reached him, he had already started moving back toward the road, asking what was going on, and I told him to keep moving and not stop, and we did not slow down until we reached the main road. And when we went back the next morning with 2 others to get the rest of the gear, the car was still there, but the battery cable was pulled loose and hanging free-like. It had been taken off by hand, and that patch of ground near the tent had footprints across it, going in a tight circle around where it had been set up. The same path pressed deeper into the ground each time.